to go there. And we're actually going to share the thing. Okay, looks like we're going. All right, yeah, that's a lot better. Cool, cool, cool. All right. So, what was I saying? Oh, yes. So one of the things that I really wanted to do and to get out there was stuff that people could play with, stuff that people could play on. But see, I have a lot of friends that have gone through a lot of stuff. All right. And I mean that. So when I first started the terrain project, so I'm going to put this out there. One of my closest friends is an engineer. Okay. And there was a very interesting thing about having friends who are in engineering, especially if you live here in Southern California. Now, I'm going to put this out there, and if you guys live in SoCal, or you have people from SoCal, back me up on this. In a lot of ways, Southern California is the place where people come to fulfill their dreams, and in a lot of ways, a place where dreams come to die. And how can I put this? Well, a lot of folks come in from out of state, and they come here primarily for the entertainment industry, either to be actors or writers or something, you know. And a lot of us that are born here, you know, some of us really want to be in entertainment, but a lot of us just want to find jobs. But being a company town and being strangely discriminatory, and when I say strangely, I mean this. A lot of higher echelon places here in SoCal are anti-black, anti-woman, fat-phobic. What are some of the other things? Really ableist. And really preferential to the conventionally attractive. All right, that's just how it is. So a good amount of us here grew up with this idea, and this is a very prevalent idea of the only way that you can possibly matter in any way, shape, or form is to be the best. You have to be the best. Okay? If you're not the best, you may as well just not be there. It's not a mindset that I'm down with, but what that leads to is a good amount of people's childhoods are filled with criticism and not the constructive kind, you know. But Solar, whatever do you mean? People there are so nice. Yeah. People here are nice. Some of them are even kind. I do my best to be. But the constructive criticism that I'm talking about is if you have an idea or you want to do something neat, one of the first things that practically anyone will say will be, that's cool, but the problem with it is. Not, that's cool, I like A, B, and C, but that's cool, but. And how can I put this? When I'm in my positive stuff or when I'm with my creativity, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to hear, but that's where shit comes from. And right now, I just don't have it in me to hear your shit. I know it's a little harsh, you know, but I like to like things. And in a lot of ways, a lot of times, I've known so many people that, how can I put it? I've talked about this on the show many, many times in the past, but the folks that hit everything with that corporate competitive mindset of, I'm only pushing you to make you better. And I tell people all the time, I am not a diamond. I am bread. And what that means, in case you guys are new to the channel, is that a diamond needs pressure to form, but bread needs space to rise. All right? And what does that have to do? What does that have to do with the price of bread, you might ask? Well, it's simple. It's very simple. That means a lot of folks' standards are set to the standards of impossible to do as an individual. Okay? And again, you might ask, well, what are you talking about? What does that mean? I don't get it. Well, it's simple. Okay? For example, there are many manufacturers of things all over the place. And a lot of people have the idea, again, this is partly grown up in a rich place like Los Angeles, that name brand or nothing. Top of the thing or nothing. And folks ask a lot of questions, which is why I stop answering a lot. And I know a lot of people are starting to think that I'm just this angry guy. But like, when I go to a store with my army and they're like, dude, those are so cool. Are they 3D printed? And I'm like, why? Why do you ask? Oh, well, I'm like, are you interested in making some? Do you want to know where I bought them? Or are you looking for a reason to say that they're not all that great because I didn't buy them from a company that has their stuff made in China? I just want to know. And then they kind of, oh, well, I'm like, yeah, I figured. But yeah, that is kind of how I roll. Okay. It's just a thing. It is. I'm not going to say what I've turned into, but yeah, it's kind of what I've turned into. But I ask those questions because a lot of folks out here, again, look for reasons why stuff sucks. And I'm like, dude, I can give you 1,000 reasons why something is terrible, but I'd like you to give me 5 or 6 reasons why something is great. You know? So I took a reach out to some of the folks. You know, Daryl was a real big help on this. Neon Arlecchino was a great big help. In the sense of, what don't we like about a lot of the games we play? And one of the biggest things that came up was storing terrain and setting up the table. And I'm like, you know what? I hate that too. I really hate that. More to the point, as much as I hate setting up the table, I hate breaking it down more. Because I can set up the table and, you know, sometimes I'll set up a table and I only end up gaming for, say, 2 hours, you know? And sometimes, and y'all know exactly what I'm talking about when I say this, sometimes it can take hours to set up a table, and then you get like 20-30 minutes of play and it feels like garbage. It's like, what did I do? Why did I spend all that time setting up if this was it? Now I have to clean up a whole room. You know, and that, I'm not gonna lie, guys, that can be relatively unnerving. All right? So, how do we get past it? Well, the easiest way to get past it is to figure out a way to set up a table that doesn't take all day to pull off. All right? How can I set up a table that don't take all day to set up? That's my question. And I came up with a method, okay? Came up with a method to set up tables and to carry stuff that doesn't require a lot of space. Yeah, there we go. It doesn't require a lot of space. It doesn't require a lot of setup time. It doesn't require any painting. And then the next question is, can I make it affordable? Okay, that was my next question, my next challenge. All right. And again, I've been talking to people about this stuff for years. Okay, got through most of the criticisms, hopefully with a little bit of grace. And I had to work out a few other things. Now, I talked to some of my friends who are engineers, and I realized why I never got my master's in engineering. And that is, I just don't think like that. And when I say I don't think like that, what I mean, guys, is I'm not always looking for a way to make something better. Okay? I'm not trying to make stuff better. I'm trying to make an idea work. Okay? And I know I have a bunch of life coaching and stuff on this show. So let's do a little bit of that right now. And I'm going to say this. Okay? The fastest way to fail at anything, not that I'm a great big success, but I failed at most things because I got caught up in that mindset. And I don't care if you're writing, if you're creating, if you're painting or anything along those lines. All right? But the fastest way to make sure that you fail is to spend more time criticizing yourself in the process of creation than you're spending in the process of iteration. Ooh, I used a bunch of words with Asian. But what does that mean, Solar? I don't get it. You say all this cool stuff. Well, have you ever been writing something and you spend so much bloody time checking your grammar, checking your spelling, editing with every single sentence that you actually never finished the thing that you were writing? You know, asking yourself all those cynical questions like, well, how exactly does this superpower work? Why would a character do something that makes no sense? Why? From the standpoint of maybe some of your closest friends, okay? Or from the standpoint of, I don't want anything to have the chance of failure, or you spend so much time criticizing, not critiquing, but criticizing the thing that you are creating, that all you do is talk yourself out of it. Okay? Again, we're gamers. I know we do it. All right? I mean, that's that whole thing of a person is their you are your worst critic, and it's true. But the criticizing that you're doing is not conducive to finishing. The way to succeed, or at least part of the way to succeed, my dear friends, is first, complete your concept. Then iterate. After it's done, see what's wrong, what doesn't make sense, where the story goes, what color palette you might want to take a look at. Okay? Too many people spend so much time doing that within their process that they end up discouraged from everything and they never get stuff done. We ain't about that here. Okay? What are we about, you might ask? We're about getting it done. Ha ha, yes, finish the thing. And this isn't my hippy dippy stance on stuff talking to you guys. This is straight up life experience coming at you. Finish it first, okay? And don't put all of the faith in the world in people outside of the project telling you where the project should go, okay? Here's the thing. Most folks ache, okay? Ache for creative control over something that they are not creating. All right? This is straight up. If you don't believe me, go to your friend who's an artist, okay? Just go to your friend who's an artist. If you're an artist, you already know. But if you're not a creator, okay, if you don't do writing or production of some kind, then talk to your friends that do and ask them how many people tell them how they should improve, quote unquote, the thing that they're working on in ways that the suggester doesn't quite understand. What do I mean? Well, I can tell y'all, when it comes to producing a lot of stuff, whether it's the terrain that I make or these videos, I have people hitting me with 1,000 suggestions. And each one of those suggestions calls for me quadrupling or quintupling my budget. And we end up falling into this cycle of, well, when your stuff looks like you've paid someone $70, $80, $90 an hour, then I'll become a fan, you know. And if you're a person of color, oh, you know this one hard. Okay. If you're from rural America, you also know this one hard. Yeah, Misfit, take chances, make mistakes, get messy. Facts. You know, yeah, you know. I ride the Magic School Bus myself. It's how wizards and stuff get around. You know, but a lot of folks have this idea that everything has to be perfect before it's ever iterated on. Or if you guys make stuff for consumption, and y'all know what I mean, if you guys are bakers or rappers or, you know, some kind of creative, y'all always got that person in your life that wants your work for free because they want to feel like they are in. You know what I mean? You see it all over Instagram with folks posting things like, y'all will pay $500 for a ticket to Beyonce, but won't pay $10 for a ticket to your brother's show. And you know what? They are absolutely right. Okay? They are absolutely right. People do just that. You know, they use familiarity to get the hookups, but they don't support the folks that they do care about. It's weird. Okay? So, all of that being the thing, this isn't old man yelling at cloud or complaining or anything like that. This is just to say that be careful when looking for counsel in the stuff that you're at, because I know if you're down here like me in Cali or California, because we don't say Cali, you'll get a lot of people straight up demanding that you make stuff to their specifications before they'll be helpful. And my friends, that, oh my God. You know, so what is it that I created now that I've talked about all this stuff? Especially since my boy is watching. Everybody say hello to Daryl over on YouTube. He was one of the folks that actually gave me some of the best feedback. All right. So what we got here, I was literally just kind of putting it back together. Nope. Nope. Oh yeah. Yeah, no, that's webcam. Nope. We're looking at that. Hey, Justin. Let's see. Ooh, what is this? All right. So, what do we have here? You might be asking, like, what is he talking about? Well, it's actually pretty simple, and it's something that I think is pretty cool. What we have here, let me see if I can work on this light. There we go. And here we are, presenting. Ooh, there we are. The back in the deck modular terrain. What we have here, if you can take a look, is we've got terrain that folds flat. Okay? And each building is roughly, yeah, it's a little under 3 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 inches by 6 inches. Okay? With all of the terrain stuff already painted on it. And that's important. Now, each one has a roof that's a little less than 6 by 6, 6 by 6-ish. And this is pressure fitted to keep the building together. Okay? Now, each one of these is made out of one of my favorite materials called masonite. All right? A masonite building. Now, what do we have it for? Well, as you see, this little thingy here, okay, is for the second level. And these cool little things, the way that I have set them up is that they are practically infinitely stackable. All right? Infinitely stackable terrain. There we go. Infinitely stackable terrain that allows figures to run around and be on multiple levels. Okay? Isn't that fun? Now, hooray! All right? You see, I had these up, but I wanted to do something a little different. I wanted to do something a little bit different, and a little bit workable for people like myself that didn't want to spend all day setting stuff up. Now, this means with this particular kit that I've put together, now most of these are handmade for right now, okay? But this solves a couple of the problems that I've had with terrain over the years, okay? Just a couple of problems that I've had with terrain over the years. However, when all is said and done, these little buggers, stacked together. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da ba da ba da ba da da ba do. Yeah. So when all is said and done, these guys will stack together and fit in about a shoebox, okay? And they will stack thusly, okay? Isn't that fun? Okay? Now, one of the things that I wanted to put out there, okay, one of the really big things, oh, well, thank you, Gaming Fix. He's like, it looks great. That looks great. Thank you. Again, I've been working on it for a little while. These are still prototype pieces. And with the prototype pieces that I got going, though, yeah, with the prototype pieces that I got going, I now have a price list, a materials list, a time that it takes to actually make everything. So this is what I'm going to do. Although I'm really interested, let me double check here. Oh yeah, people forget about budget all the time, Daryl. But yeah, so once this is up, I have to finish putting all of the print art onto these. But here comes the interesting part, okay? And when I say interesting part, the way that I have this put together is that a set of 10 buildings, 10 buildings, that's 10 one-story buildings, all right, I'm going to be retailing for about $90 plus shipping, all right? And why is that? Well, 10 buildings. That means you get 10 single-story buildings, or as you see, they're infinitely stackable, so you can have 5 two-story buildings. You can have a few 3-story buildings and stuff if you're like me and like games with folks that have things like jetpacks and, you know, jetpacks and flying powers and things like that. Come on, girl. You're here? Yeah, you're coming up? You're coming up. All right, here we go. Scraps just loves being here. All right. So yeah, this is definitely one of the things. And for $80, it is all the terrain you will ever need for buildings and setup. I may include little packs of like trash cans and other stuff for maybe like $10-20. But my whole thing is I want to make sure that anybody in the world that wants to play these games doesn't have to go through all of these different gates. All right. Let's see here. Yeah. So, to take a look, like I said, I have the older models. Okay. I have the older models and some of the other terrain that I've made before. Right here. You know, yeah, look at the puppy. There she is. There she is. She loves jumping in my lap. And yeah, to get a lot of this stuff going the way that I like to get it going, you know, we've got Steel and Superman, and yeah, I had to put Crypto in there versus Zod and Namek and all that stuff, and that is going to be one of the first things. And you can see the older buildings that I have up before I came up with the proper measurements that I wanted. Okay? And that is really important to me because how can I put it? Oh, what's this? What's this? Ah. Oh, look at her. Just, oh, God. She's being such a dog. Such a dog. Um, do 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 do. Hang on. Looks like we got a question over here. So, as I said, once I get all of this stuff up and running, hey, there we go. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make sure that y'all can see her just a little bit better because she's like, hey, look, I am so cute. Yes, I am cute. Okay, girl. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Yeah, there she is. Y'all can see the ears. So let me see here. Looks like I got a question. Now, once I get all that stuff. Yep. Once I get all that stuff up and going, like I said, I will be selling entire sets of 10 buildings for like for about $90. But that $90 will fill a table decently for, oh man, I had it written down here, but for Crisis Protocol, Stargrave, Dead Zone, Kill Team, just pretty much any modern game that you guys got going, this stuff will be so useful. And pretty much the way that all that stuff goes is when I sell the second terrain pack, and those are never going to be more than $30 plus shipping. Because the secondary terrain pack will be things like bridges and possibly like oil crates and things like that. But for the 10 buildings and all that stuff, that is what we are looking at. So yeah, I mean, quite seriously, I'm looking at it and I'm like, $90, good Lord. But that's okay. That's okay, because here's the gig, guys. If you guys head over, okay? If you guys head over to the Patreon. Yeah, there we go. If you guys head over to patreon.com/BID_P, okay? Hang on, /BID_P. Boop. Oh, wow. Look at all that. Hang on. Patreon. Yeah, if you guys head over to the Patreon. There we go. All right, girl. Yeah, there we go. Now. Now, if you guys head over to the Patreon and join the $50 tier, all right? If you guys join the $50 tier between now and December 1st, I will send you guys the $10 or the 10 building set through your Patreon. Between now and December 1st, hit the $50 tier and you guys will get a set of the terrain in either regular modern or science fiction. All right? So that's what we are going to do on that front. All right? Because again, I want people to play some games. Now, we got a question over here from Mr. Daryl. Question over here from Mr. Daryl. How do we deal with motivation? Because for me, inspiration and even focus comes and goes. Like between me and my friend, we run a vampire game. I'm loose for my own sanity, but he'll spend hundreds of hours for setup. You know, that is a really good question, and let me get to that. But first, nope, wrong one. Where is so many pieces of paper? There we go. All right, so many pieces of paper. All right, so to answer that question, motivation. Well, motivation comes in a lot of ways, shapes, and forms for a lot of different people. What I don't want people to get into the habit of thinking is that when they are, I guess you can say, committed to doing something, just some sort of thing, they have to have the commitment of a samurai. All right. I was a teenager in the 90s. And back then, we loved samurai culture. Now, with so much of a weeb, I went to college to learn about Japanese culture. And then I went to Japan. And then I realized, you know what? Japanese culture, not my jam. I'm not type A enough. That's what I'll say on that. So I'm a real loose guy myself. All right. I'm a really loose guy. So when it comes down to game prep, you can do a couple of different things. All right. Game prep number 1. All right. What a lot of people do, what a lot of people try and do, at least, is and again, this used to be my technique, is when I was a much younger GM, would do my best to prep for every single situation. Okay? And when I say that, I ain't kidding. I mean every single situation. I would come up with my story arc and I would write it like a choose your own adventure novel. Okay? And that is a way to go, but it can be really frustrating. Okay? Really frustrating, because there's an old saying: every story arc, or there isn't a story arc that survives first contact with players. Not at all. So what do you do when inspiration comes and goes and you just can't think of every single thing? Like, what can you do when you've written a combat game and your players don't feel like fighting? Ugh, you know? And, bro, that is a real thing that can and has happened to a lot of GMs. But what do you do? You know, what do you do when that is the experience? And the answer is you adapt, you adjust. Now, what do I do to prep for games when I'm just not feeling the inspiration? And the answer is not schedule a game for that time. I'm kidding, but not exactly kidding. A good amount of time, how can I put this? If I'm running a role-playing game, all right, what I tend to do is I go over as many notes from as many GMs as possible. Now, I love being in the 21st century. Oh, you're trying to get up now. I love being in the 21st century and being a modern gamer, okay? Because being a modern gamer, look at her. Oh, yeah, look at her. Yes, she's doing the adorable thing. Being a modern gamer means that I have access to far more stuff than I used to, okay? What does that mean? That means I can go on places like RPG.net, I can go on wikis, I can look at groups, and I can find pre-made adventures, okay? And I can do my gaming prep. You are not getting on that table. No, you're not getting on the table. Now, you can either relax in my lap or you can go run in the backyard. One of the two. Which one? Which one? Okay, you're relaxing in my lap. All right. So, So what I can do is I can take some time when I'm, say, watching Netflix and I'm doing the whole second screening thing, and I can hop on to like rpg.net or something like that, and I can pull up a pre-written adventure for the game that I'm running. Now, sometimes I can do it on rpg.net. Sometimes I can go to a Facebook group. Sometimes I can go to a Reddit group. Okay? But these are totally places that have the resources that I need. And I can literally just download the thing. Now, y'all have seen me on this channel talking about y'all have seen me talk about things like epic encounters from Steamforged Games. I've got at least 2 of them, and I'm looking to get more for the times that I'm running folks in 5th edition. I don't know if I'm going to do the switch over to the new 5th edition. We'll see. But that's the stuff I do before I'm under the gun. And see, when it comes to inspiration, timing is key. All right? Sometimes you'll be inspired for a grand adventure, but it'll be 2 o'clock in the morning. Or you'll be sitting up at your job when nobody is at your desk or something like that, and you'll see something, and you'll be like, what would it be like if there was a monster there? Or, I bet this thing would have some kind of treasure. Or wouldn't it be cool if there was like a secret door hidden by the copy machine? I have a friend who I'm keeping anonymous who's a park ranger, and a park ranger that works the graveyard shift. Oh my God, you want to talk about inspiration. I mean, being in the forest at night, I've seen Atlanta. I read H.P. Lovecraft. I do not like the woods after dark. And there's so much inspiration for good stories in the woods when the sun goes down, especially when you're by yourself. I think back to every single movie that I saw from the video store. And that's a second thing, all right? Let's talk about this for real. There is no such thing, guys, no such thing as an original story. Okay, a lot of people are like, oh man, no, you just stole that from something I've seen before. But wherever you saw it is stole it from somewhere that you hadn't seen before. There are so many movies and stuff out there that are honest to God remakes. Example, John Carpenter's The Thing is a remake. All right? It was a remake of the movie called The Thing from Another World that came out in the 1950s. All right? And he took it, he put his stamp on it, he spun it, he remixed it, and he made it his to a point where 3 generations of people don't even know about A Thing from Another World. All right? And to say that is to say, if you're like me and you grew up running the halls of a hospital some nights and a video store the other night, pick a movie that your gaming groups haven't seen, okay? And run them straight through that. All right? Example, one of the crappy video store finds that I have had over the course of my life was this really crappy movie called The Robot Ninja. And it was about a dude who I believe either read or wrote a comic called Robot Ninja. And he decided to become a vigilante using that moniker. And it did not go well. I mean, he went against like one gang and did not live till the end. It was terrible. And I'm dead serious. I am so dead serious. It was, there was a great scene that they took a lot from the Terminator from, where he was actually trying to fix himself because he couldn't go to the hospital or else the police would know that he was, so he had to put a bunch of tubes and stuff in his own body that he had from the hardware store. But yeah, it was not great. It was really not great. The lesson learned there is sometimes TV is just TV, and second, and this is a big one, y'all, if you're gonna be a comic book character, don't make it based on a robot. You know, robots don't go through the years of training that Batman does. But yeah, I mean, it was terrible. But there's a lot of story elements that you can take from crappy stuff that you've never seen before. I was talking to a really good friend of mine, my best friend actually, about a movie that came out in 1987 called Wild Thing. And it was about a kid whose parents were hippies and they got killed by the local drug dealers, and he was raised on the street by a crazy homeless woman and became a freaking superhero for the homeless people in, I think, Brooklyn or the Bronx, okay, in 87. And there's a lot of story elements you can take from that. You know, is your party the investigative police team to find out what's going on there? You know, is one of your party members the cause of this crazy person being like that? You never knew. But there's so many things from media that already exist that you can just plop little story elements out of, mix them all together, put them in a blender, and see if they taste good. Now, when it comes to prepping, I will let y'all know. If you watched Warp Tumblers, you guys have seen me GM. I do prep for games, but I don't do hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of prep, all right? I keep story beat notes. This has got to happen, this has got to happen, this has got to happen, and this has got to happen. 2 of the 4 things have to happen this game session. After that, we'll see where the players go, and I let the players take charge of the stuff. And that's just, God, almost 40 years of GMing coming at me. But yeah, but when you're stuck for inspiration, one of the things I like to do is when I'm stuck for inspiration, I'll put on a piece of media and I will ask the question, how would I have done it? Okay? That is a big question. How would I have done it if I had the chance to do it? All right? Like, how would I have changed James Cameron's Avatar? How would I have ended Titanic? You know, a lot of people say, well, you know, there was a lot of room on there on that thing with Rose, and she didn't have to let him drown. Yeah, maybe. Okay. How would I have rewritten that ending? You know, was it necessary for DiCaprio to die? At the time, I would have said yes. But, you know, let's see here. Ooh, man. We got a thing. But players always ask about the city. About the city, man? They always ask about the city. What do you mean? They ask a whole bunch of questions like, you know, they want to know every street and every stuff like that. I call that playing to win, not playing to play. And if you're playing games that are set in modern setting, like Vampire the Masquerade and stuff like that, that's simple, okay? When players start asking a bunch of, let's call them circularly immersive questions, all right? There are 2 things that you can do. Thing 1, have them roll for it. If they pass the check, make something up and take a note. If they don't pass it, then you let them know they just don't have access to it. All right? Now, I cheat. Not the way that y'all are thinking of, all right? when it comes to my games like Vampire or Dresden Files or things that are set in modern days, number one, I try and set them in cities I already know. Now, I'm fortunate, okay? I'm very fortunate. I was born and raised in Los Angeles, and I have walked almost every single street in this city at every time of day. I know, I think the only person that might know LA better than me is Michael Mann. All right, I know what neighborhoods not to walk into at what time of day. And second, I use Google Maps. I'm not lying, guys. If I set something in LA, I got Google Maps set up in one of the windows of the laptop that I'm using. Oh, we are still going to get through the DC game playthrough as soon as the puppy gets off of my lap. Cause yeah, let me give you guys another shot of the Patreon. And here she is, right here. This is what I'm dealing with, y'all. But she's been following me around like wanting all day. So that's one of the big things that I do. Now, I do design my set pieces, okay? And what do I mean by that? Well, when I ran my first Dresden Files game, okay, I ran it with people that knew the lore as well as I did, so they wanted to talk with people from the books, okay? They also thought they knew LA as good as I did, all right? So I took my city and I set it in the world, all right? I had the Order of St. Giles set up at St. Mary's University, which is a Catholic school, a Catholic university around the corner from USC. Now, I haven't actually been on that campus, but I did go to college. So I thought about every building and every room that would be there, and how it would serve my story. Okay, and I made a note of that, and I put that in my game Bible. Oh, what's a game Bible, you ask? Your game Bible is the notebook that you keep with the places that you create. Okay? The characters that you have, as in your NPCs, your BBEGs, all that other stuff. All right? i.e., the module that you write to go with the game that you're running. I mean, it really isn't that difficult to figure out. Okay? And why would I go through all that? Well, it's actually pretty simple. The simple part of it comes down to me wanting to make sure that when they ask all of these game-breaking questions in order to be clever, I have answers. All right? And that's a really big thing. You know, like when folks go, well, what is this city? Okay. Well, number one, if you're playing games like Vampire, you have a great resource at your beck and call. And those are the city books. All right? Vampire was modern dark fantasy. So they released books for Chicago and New York and New Orleans and stuff like that. And those particular cities had their own books. Now, if you don't have access to those books, there's lots of, you can check out the wikis. Because the wikis are like, oh yeah, no, they had those books. And those books are here. So check out these books. Or check out the prince of this city, the prince of there, and all that. Now, what do you do when your players don't ask specific questions? That part, I got nothing for you, man. There's really nothing I can say on that. Because, let's be real, guys. A lot of the times, new gamers don't quite understand that games are meant to be played versus won. And a lot of gamers, they play to win the RPG. Okay? Um, I mean, quite seriously, I know a lot of gamers that, well, how can I put it? I was recording a game session, and one of the players essentially was trying to solve the entire game with an idea that they came up with on the fly. All right. And this happens. They go, oh, I can do this. Then why don't I just? And they pretty much essentially put the whole game on hold while they were trying to win. That annoyed the players at the table, but it was a new gamer. The GM actually handled it pretty well. It was they had a telepathic link with the guy, and the guy just stopped talking to him. He just stopped answering. And a second thing, and this is really big. All right, a second thing was he was going through how to play certain things, and he was trying to use stuff, and it just wasn't working because the dice weren't on his side, and he just kept trying things until he finally came out and said, hey, I'm really tired of failing. And that gave me the chance as one of the seasoned players to go, dude, failing happens. The dice roll funny, but it's not a reflection on who you are, because a lot of the times you can make all the right moves and still lose. And the best stories come when there are difficulties, when the players do fail. Okay? So when it comes to prepping for game, you don't have to be prepared for every question that your players have, because I can promise you there are a lot of players out there that will come up with 5 more questions to every answer you give them just to prove that you don't know everything. I don't like it, but that's kind of the nature of being a gamer in the United States. People can be unnecessarily competitive. All right? So when it comes to prepping your game, take some time. If you have any time that you would normally be, say, on TikTok or Instagram in my case, okay? And think. Don't go over the notes. Don't write anything down. Just think about the last game, okay? Think about where you want the next one to go. And check out your surroundings, because there is so much story in the places that we are and the things that we already do. What are you looking for, kid? What are you looking for? You just like being in my lap? Yeah. Most people that do gaming channels like this, they have larger dogs that can't sit in the lap like this one can. It's okay, Scraps. What are you looking for, girl? Okay, now you're just messing with me because there can't be any problems down by the well. We don't have a well. We're in Los Angeles. We've got regular water. Just regular running water. There's no well. This isn't the Waltons. Okay? I don't even have a septic tank because I've got plumbing. I want to hold as big as a septic tank so I can make it another room. But yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what you're trying to get at, girl. I'm like, what do you want from me, blood? Huh? I've given you plant food. I've given you dog food. I've given you dirt. I gave you a backyard. And hope you're not hurt. Yeah. I don't know. I'm a new dog owner, guys. I have no freaking idea what I'm doing. But yeah, so that's what I have to say on prepping for your games. Now, that's prepping way before, all right? And I get it. If you're a decker, and I know you're a decker in the sense of you were born not in gaming culture. You're from the disenfranchised sector. I get it. And I want to talk a little bit about what I get. All right. Now, here's the thing, y'all. If y'all grew up middle class, then y'all probably can't really identify with what I'm about to say. So take note and listen. Part of growing up in the disenfranchised sector is that everything about your existence, especially as a child, is considered bothersome. Okay? Now, when I say bothersome, I mean this. If you need something, it's not, sure, son. Sure, honey. We can do that. It's, oh, God, seriously? You know, that's kind of the thing. And I don't care if you're white trash or you're black. That's generally how the people that brought us up treat everything. All right? And anything that school would have you do, such as read, write, prepare for something, is generally, and I say generally, but generally used as a form of punishment. Okay? There are so many things that we would rather do in the world than our homework. That's just part of being a kid. However, if you're a person of color or rural poor, you grew up under corporal punishment. So we didn't look at reading the chapters as something we could do for fun. It was what we had to do in order not to get in trouble. And trouble meant beatings. Okay? You had to read the chapters because if mom or dad or grandma or pops thought that you weren't reading, then you were going to get hit. You know? Notice I didn't say caught you not reading. I said thought you weren't reading. So that wears away at our work ethic because we don't look at these things as fun. We don't say, hey, I get to create a secret society. I get to create monsters for my friends to pretend to run through. We don't get to. We have to. All right? And this is actually in response to Daryl. I'm saying this to you right now. That ain't lazy. That's traumatized. All right? That whole idea of you're not doing it because you're lazy is false. All right? A lot of the times, we didn't understand stuff. We didn't get what was expected of us. And let's be real, we rarely understood the consequences, the long-term consequences of what we were being asked. Be them the consequences of doing them, the consequences of not doing it. All right? If you're Generation X or millennial, all right, there was no internet. I'll tell you, the whole idea of this is important to your future, yeah, that wasn't us. Okay, we grew up in the time of do it because I said so, and essentially, that has left an indelible. Oh, there you go, girl. That has left an indelible scar on a lot of the stuff. Sometimes we just want to play. Sometimes we just want to play. But why do we got to go through all that stuff to play? You know, why do we got to do this? And again, why do I got to? Why do I have to? Not, hey, I get to. All right? So, when it comes down to that, this ain't about being lazy, okay? It's about recognizing how you look at these particular tasks and looking at it in a different way. All right? These aren't things that you have to do to run a game. All right? These are things that you get to do to play the type of game that you want to play. Okay? I mean, you can not do those things. And just deal with the kind of game that you might not like running. Okay? Or you can do what it takes to run the type of game that you do want to run, but for that, you got to have a clear idea of the type of game that you want to run. Okay? When it comes to anything that was written by White Wolf, I love horror adventure. Okay? A lot of my friends only play stuff from that company for politics. All right? But we can come through, but we can, and we have many times in the past come to a middle ground with those. You feel me? You know? So yeah. So it's not about being lazy, man. I don't think that you lazy. You know? But I do think that there is an undercurrent of discouragement when it comes to running the games. You feel me? So put aside the discouragement and think, hey, I get to do something cool. I get to create a story. You know, I get to scare the crap out of this guy. Hell, for me, sometimes it's I get to show these folks that they're not as clever as they think. And yeah, I know that's not the healthiest way to approach a lot of these games. But you know, sometimes you just gotta let somebody know. You know, because I have a lot of friends with a very fatalistic, or not fatalistic, but pessimistic outlook on things. You know, I know my business mentor is a big old curmudgeon, and he was telling me about how he was in a D&D game, and he just figured it was best for him to kill the rest of his party because they got off mission. I'm like, you know, if you didn't have fun with the game, you could have just quit. You know? And I've had certain games with certain types of people, but that comes down to the people that I got games with. But what it really comes down to is understanding your motives and their motives for play. Are they playing or are they competing? You know, you don't have to have an answer for every single question they have. Because like I said, I know a lot of gamers that once they have those questions answered, they'll come up with 3 or 4 just to show that you're not all that. Versus just being able to have fun. Or more to the point, they'll turn a cooperative game like D&D into a competition. You know? So don't worry too much about it. They got questions about the city. Have a few answers ready. And if they're asking the GM, have them roll. If they're asking an NPC, have that NPC as enigmatic as possible. You know, I mean, that whole thing of I recently watched The Wizard of Oz, and that whole there's no place like home thing and all that stuff. And Dorothy's like, why didn't you tell me all this from the beginning? And Glenda was like, you wouldn't have believed me. You know, I mean, never mind the fact that she kind of needed a child soldier, but yeah, Glenda was like, you wouldn't have believed me if I just told you this was all you had to do. And Dorothy was like, yeah, that's probably true. I wouldn't have believed you. You know, so again, when it comes to prepping for your game, do as much prep as you need to run the story that you want to run. If you've got a second, another GM that takes 30 to 40 hours to prep for their game, hey, let them know that you appreciate their effort, but that ain't your style. And if that's what they want you to do, if you don't do it, you're not going to make them happy. So forget about making them happy. Run your game, have your fun. All right? Okay, look at that. Now, I have to set up this board to have some play with. So let's take a little bit of a break as I head to the bathroom and try and set up this board. All right? So let's, yeah. So, in the meantime, send me some DMs. See you in a minute. And we are back. So we're checking out a couple of things. Yeah, a couple of things, couple of stuffs, couple of things. And hello, other person watching on YouTube. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for showing up. Now, if you guys are noticing, I actually stopped broadcasting on the Instagram because it just wasn't working out that great. The stuff that I wanted to do just did not it didn't come through. I wasn't very happy with it. So one of the things that one of the other things that I ended up doing was, instead of looking at stuff via Instagram, I'm just here on YouTube, just doing the regular stuff. Because quite honestly, well, how can I put this? Using the regular stuff in the way that I do actually makes it easier for me. So, one of the things that I'm doing as we speak is I'm kind of, sort of, in a funny kind of way, setting up. Yeah, I'm kind of, sort of setting up the, hang on. Yeah. Boop. There we go. Yeah. Setting up the gameplay. Because there's a lot of different ways to do this. That's where I want it. Okay. And yeah, setting this up the way I want it is kind of difficult, given the equipment that I have. So let's see. All right, let's see who else is here. Okay, I'm turning that off. Where's my dock? Chat. There we go. All right. I hope Twitch is working well. Boop, boop. All right. Now, we're looking at a couple of other things right now. Ah. Yep. Okay. So, let me just get this going here. Oh, I think I know what I got to do here. Let's take a look. Who's in here? It's not telling me. All right. Well, that's cool. So, what we are going to do is we are going to do a couple of other really quick things. And then we're going to set stuff up for the next segment. Yay, isn't this fun? Wow, I'm on for like 3 hours today. So yeah, we'll see how that works out. I will be right back. Alright, guys. So, ooh, isn't that fun? There we go. And all right. So, here we are. And yeah, looks like we're still here. So, to give you guys just a little bit of a better view. Oh, yeah. That's what I'm looking for. All right. So, as you guys know, wow. Looks like YouTube hasn't caught up yet, so we're just reload that page. So, as you guys know, we've been talking about the DC Universe game, which is fun, huh? Yeah, look at all that, the DC Universe game. And we got a couple of things that I wanted to grab because I think they would be a nice and fun. So, let's take a look at some of these things. Now, hang on. I thought I had them, but I was mistaken, but that's okay. We're picking them up now. Yeah, picking them up now. We're looking at I know where most of this stuff is. Nope, not that one, not that one. There we go. Heading on down. Now, for those of you guys that dig stuff, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a walkthrough so that, in a nutshell, y'all know what you're looking at when I post this stuff online. So, and let's see here. No, we'll go here. And boom. Now, I want to see what's in that folder to make sure I have everything. No. Cool. Cool. Yeah. All right. Got that one. Got that one. So I have to bring up the character cards on this. I knew there was something I had forgotten to do. But that's okay. Because we're doing that. And we're going to do that practically now. And as we're doing this, it's actually going to be kind of fun. Now, I actually really liked fielding those questions. So let's take another look at some of the things that we got going. Me and my lack of preparation, but that's okay. That's okay. It's just a little bit of a lack of prep. Okay, and where is she at? Oh God, over here. Ah, that's better. I can actually see the stuff. Isn't that fun? So, yeah, I'm pulling out a couple of things because I want to walk you guys through some of the gameplay so that y'all get what I'll be doing, and we're going to walk through some of these cards. There we go. No, wait, I did that one. No, I'm looking for... Come on, where is she? Nope, nope, nope. Nope, another day. Now, setting up for a lot of these battle reports has been a really, really trying thing. Making sure that all my cameras are charged up, trying to get multiple angles. Now, there's a lot of folks that do certain types of battle reports, and I'll let you guys know. They're the kind that I want, and they're the kinds that I may have to do. As you guys know, some of the ones that I want to do, you know, they have really cool in-close shots and tight stuff and all that stuff, and they look very awesome. The downside, because there's always one, right? Well, the downside to it is that as much as I want to do them that way, that requires a whole lot, and I mean a whole lot of editing. All right, we're talking at least 30 hours of editing just to do it that way. And I'm not exaggerating, guys. I'm not exaggerating at all. Hang on. I'm looking for a Wonder Woman in my files. So let me just double check to see if there's one here. She'd be down here at the bottom. No. Okay, double checking. Yep. I love having a little dog because they don't believe that they're little. Isn't that fun? Yeah, if you guys are wondering, I do have 3 or 4 screens here. So, nope. No, not Gorilla City. All right, let's take a look here. Nope. Not there. I know I had one. somewhere. Oh no, I just went through that file. Oh. Oh! That would be why. I'm in the wrong group. There we go. There we go. Ah, the print and play cards. Do 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 do. Yep, she is trying to claim the whole neighborhood. She's like, it's mine, it's mine, it's all mine. All of it. That too. Nah, it's just the Suicide Squad, not looking for them. I know they were in one of these files. Because I had them, I just can't find her. What is this? VLC Snap. What are these? Ah. Nope. Okay. There we go. Ah. Oh yeah, we're putting that in there. Ah, thank you. Jeebers. Okay. And we're going to go here for one last one. And then we can get this going so that you guys can see everything that I can see. Oh, man. So, yeah, this week has been a tough one. And, of course, after this, guys, I'm going to be doing some more filming while my dog runs around the house yelling and screaming at everything. Because that is how it goes. Oh, come on. You telling me he ain't there? He's got to be there. I look through these files almost every single night. And maybe he's here. Yep, so many things. And yeah, this is really how I spend a good amount of my time when I'm not here prepping for stuff. Yeah, there's a lot that goes on with all this. So I thank you guys for your patience. Let's see if we can go back in here. If you guys are wondering why I haven't commented like at all, and I mean like at all, on current events, I'll tell you quite honestly, I haven't found the necessity to do so. If you guys watch the channel, you know where I stand. And I figure if people had questions, they would send me a private message. That's really what it comes down to. Um, hmm. All right, yeah, this is weird. Oh, wait. Images. There we go. Mm-hmm. Oh, no. Well, let's see. Let's see if we can add some stuff to this. Add image. Ay, ay, ay. This pooch. Okay. There we go. Look at that. All right. We'll just add that and add that. Browse it. And now, yep, adding 4 files to this particular thing. Here he is. Okay. Okay. And finally, okay. Cool. All right. So, since I'm over here, all right. Gonna fade out the chat. And hey guys, so we are gonna go over a quick round, maybe 2, of the DC Multiverse miniature tabletop game. All right, because well, I personally think it's a fun game. I do. I think it's a fun game, and I wanted to show you guys how it looked, and of course, how we can make it work. Yeah. All right. So yeah, that's one of the things that we're going to do down here. So let's take a look. There we go. All right. So let's head on in to the game gallery and take a look at how it looks. Okay, so here we have our Wonder Woman, our Batman, and our Flash. You know, and these guys, super fun. And we have them versus Doomsday. I am Doomsday. I killed the Superman, and now I'm going to kill the U's. And Batman's like, you might, but I have one thing to say. And what do you have to say to the man who killed the Superman? I'm Batman. Okay, and I'm Doomsday. I'm Batman. I'm Doomsday. You know, that's kind of the thing. Yeah, I can get silly. Now, what we're going to do here is we are going... Yeah. So, here's the way this game goes, all right? We are going to pretend, just for a moment, that... what is the term? Initiative has been done, and all of that jazz. So let's bring up the character card, and we're going to have the Justice League go first. All right? So what we have here is, let's bring up Wonder Woman and walk through her card. Now, good old Diana, the Wonder Woman here. Pop. Yeah. Now, good old Diana has a bunch of numbers, and let's walk you guys through them really quickly. Won't take very long. Now, Wonder Woman has a bunch of stats down here. The first stat, the biggest one on the page that we have, okay, is her skill level at 16. Now she has 9 power. What does that mean? Well, on every stat card, you'll see a really big number called the power level. That is their point cost, okay? Or, sorry, their level. That's their point cost, all right? With their point cost, that means how many points it costs to put them on the table. Most games are rated for 50 points, all right? Now, this Wonder Woman here is actually rated, if we take a look, 16 out of 50 points. She's kind of a beast, all right? She's a really big beast. Now, this is the Wonder Woman that's on a horse, but I didn't feel like bringing the horse out, so, but yeah, that's kind of the thing. But looking at her stats, under attributes, we have power, all right? Power is how many, I suppose you can say action points she has per turn. Now, in this game, it's actually really simple to determine action points and all of that other stuff, and we're going to go through that. Now, below her action points, we have speed. All right, her speed, with a lot of characters, you'll see that they have 3 speed ratings. One speed rating is for walking, the next is for running, and the third is for flying. So when we look at Wonder Woman's card, we can see that she can walk for 8 or run for 12. However, each one costs a power point. Do you understand? She has 8 power points to spend over the course of a round. And unfortunately, our power points are used for both attack and defense. So, let's take another look at what she's got. There we go. Now, with her PowerPoints, all right, she has strength of 5. This is important. An attack power of 7. Let's see here. She also has a size of 4. That's her on a horse, you know, that kind of thing. And essentially, your size matters in this game because if you are bigger than something, you can pick it up and you can toss it. Okay? And your strength will also allow you to pick something up and throw it. I believe you can throw something whose size is up to half of your strength rating, rounded down. So, Wonder Woman has a strength of 5. Actually, let's get you to a better one. Let me just go here, and then we'll go here, and yeah. So since Wonder Woman, that's better. So yeah, so we see that Wonder Woman has a strength of 5 and attack of 7. Now this is a 2d8 game, which means the attacker, if Wonder Woman is attacking, she adds 7 to 2d8 and she tries to get through the defenses, this area here, of the opponent. Okay? Now, agility, stamina, and willpower, they come in a little bit later. So now, let's take a look at the Doomsday card. Because, you know, we got the Doomsday, because the Doomsday is the awesomeness, right? Now, Doomsday here. There we go. Now, Doomsday is a level 20. He is a beast. Now, he has 10 power to spend, speed of 5 and 8, strength of 6, attack of 8, size of 4. He is a beast. Also, with the skills, he has regeneration 1. He is resistant to just plain physical damage and energy damage. And he has toughness of 1, which means he is less prone to knockback. All right. And that's really, really big because a lot of folks in this game have what's called push powers. All right. And those push powers, well, Superman punches you, you're going to go flying. It's just that's just what's going to happen. Now, if you guys notice, down here we have the endurance. These are our hit points. Oh, look at all these hit points and all that stuff. And every time you lose hit points to get to another color, that's when you have to make a stamina check to see if you succumb to your wounds and you pass out. Okay? And these are all of their things. These superpowers, they come at a cost. Like his big strike, costs 3. It does 3 damage, and it's irresistible, which means if you have a resistance to something, no, you don't. It's a penetrating wound, and it kind of sucks. Now, there are 3 colors when it comes to using your powers. Green means that you can use your powers as many times in a round as you have the power to use it. So, he has a big strike at a cost of 3, and he's got 10 power, which means 3, 6, 9. He can use 3 of those big strikes. Now, in this game, you can use an additional power point to either increase your damage by 2 or to add another die to your to-hit roll. So his attack is 8 plus 2d6, or 2d8. So there we go. Now, let's head over. Let us head over to the game board. All right, here we are. We got the game board, and Batman is so busy going, I'm Batman, that he's doing the I'm Batman thing. Hey, isn't that fun? So, let's take a look at Batman's card, because, yeah, Batman's going to go first, because he's Batman. And Batman here, he has 8 power to spend. Isn't that fun? All right. And with the 8 power that he has to spend, all right, he's got Doomsday. Now, with Doomsday, he's got a batarang. So he's gonna throw. Well, yeah. The first thing he's gonna do is he is going to jump up on the roof right here, just in case Doomsday decides to get cute. Yeah, he's going to jump up on the roof, and he's got the speed of 4 to do that. And then he's going to go here. Hang on. Yeah. And then Batman here is going to throw a batarang at Doomsday. All right, so Batman has an attack of 7. And Doomsday Doomsday, let's see. Now his batarang costs 2 power, and he has 7 power left for the round. Now, at the end of the round, he will be able to re-up. All right? At the end of the round, your power points refill, because this game would not be fun if that wasn't the case. Yep. Going through all that. Did I not bring his card out physically? Oh, this is funny. But I did bring Batman's card out physically, so that's fun. All right. So let's go to Doomsday. Oh. There we are. All right. So Batman has an attack of 7 and Doomsday. Now, with his attack of 7, this is going to be a physical attack. And it does 1 damage and ensnares. So Batman is going to boost it to do an additional point of damage. All right, so Batman having an attack of 7 needs an 8 on 2d8. Let's see how that goes. And he misses, but that's okay, because he can, let's see. He started off with 8, 7. He has 4 left. So, he's going to do it again, but this time he's not boosting. Okay, and he nails Doomsday. However, it's got ensnare, and Doomsday is tough. So, it literally does nothing to Doomsday. And that would be it for Batman. Now, Doomsday is like, somebody threw something at me, but I don't like this girl. So, Doomsday, who has a power of 10, a speed of 5 and 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, moves forward to Wonder Woman, and now he's got 9 left. He is going to do his big strike. Now, he has a corrosive aura, so what this means is if you stop your action, like if you stop moving within an inch of him, you take a point of damage because shut up. And yeah, so he is going to big strike Wonder Woman. Let's see, he's got 9, so that's going to be 3. He has an attack power of 8. And Wonder Woman has a defense. Yeah, she has a defense. Let's see what kind of damage it does. Okay, it does physical. She has a defense of 16. So, let's see if Doomsday can get that 8 that he needs. 50-50 shot. Oh my god, yeah, not only does he get the 8 that he needs, but it's a critical hit. Oh my god, that does an additional point of damage. So Wonder Woman takes 4 points of damage, and it's irresistible, and it sucked. So, while all that is happening, he is then, let's see, he used 4, he's got 6. So, he now used, so now he's going to use the Bone Breaker, which does 4 damage, and it does so in a 2-inch radius around him, which actually catches the Flash. So he's going to do the Bone Breaker. However, he is going to, and it does stun 2, which removes 2 power from the person that it hits. So, he's going to do the Bone Breaker attack, and now he is actually going to spend an additional one, so 5 out of his 6, for an additional die to his attack. And now, we'll see how it goes. 10, attack 8, so that's 18. He does 18. Which actually it beats Wonder Woman, but it only meets the Flash. So the Flash is fine, but Wonder Woman takes 4 more damage. Ouch! And she's stunned, which means she loses 2 of her 8 power for the next turn. Okay, and that actually knocks her into her next bracket. So now Wonder Woman has to make a stamina check. Her stamina's 10. She has to roll below 10 to not pass out. And she passed out. And Doomsday, having only 2 damage or 2 power left, relaxes for the rest of the turn. So it seems complicated, but once you have the sheets in front of you, the game is actually pretty fun and pretty simple to understand. So, this is the game that I'm going to be filming a battle report or 2 for. There are 16 scenarios in the main rulebook, and that is going to be fun to go through these scenarios. Now, fortunately, not everyone features Doomsday, okay? But this is the guy that killed Superman, so there we go. But I want to thank you guys for watching the show, and, of course, if you guys have any questions or comments, well, it's really easy. Send me an email at backinthedeck@gmail.com. That's BACKINTHEDECK@gmail.com. You can also reach out to me over at Instagram at backinthedeck and all that jazz. Anyway, thank you guys very, very, very much for tuning in. And again, if anybody tells you guys that you can't like what you like because of the circumstances of your birth, be it race, religion, creed, gender identity, sexual orientation, disability, or your budget, you can tell any of those people to take any of those cards and put them back in the deck. This is Solar Gray, the Cinematic Sorcerer, saying thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you next time on the dark side of the room.